is a 1967 dually. It's a cabin chassis that we bought out of North Carolina several years ago, that I bought literally originally just for the cab, because the cab is super solid. We literally replaced no panels other than it will need rocker panels. We were going to use this cab on another truck, but then after I got it here, I couldn't bring myself to destroy this truck. So we decided to build it. The original plan was to just drop a motor in it, and here we are, I don't know, 4 years later. 4 years, yeah. Then we kind of went overboard, because I ended up having a 350 out of a Suburban. We said, we'll just drop that 350 in it. And then I started talking tune port injection, because I just grew up in that era where tune ports were kind of cool back in the late 80s, mid to late 80s. And so I bought this. Well, then I upgraded to SLP runners, upgraded to BBK throttle body, went to Brodix aluminum heads, roller cam and lifters. It just went really crazy, really fast. So it's now a 355, as I said, Brodix aluminum heads, roller cam and lifters. Everything's been done. Every nut and bolt on this truck has been gone through. Yes, we're leaving it patina. It is truly an old farm truck, because I think every panel except that cowl right there has a dent in it. But I love the blue. We'll have to post some pictures. Garrett will put some pictures on. You're probably looking at them now, of what this thing looked like when we got it. And it was just really rusty over top of the blue. And we spent a day or two just wet sanding it and got it back down to the blue. And I said, man, that thing is gorgeous that way. That, if we can look up underneath this this cowl, that is actually, if I can get it from that side. Hey Logan, grab that side, would you? Just pick it up. So you can look up underneath this cowl. Can you get at it or no? Anyways, you can kind of see underneath there. That's original paint. Hey, there's a magnet up underneath there, and a wrench, and our shims. I just set this on here one day. Hey, there's that wrench. Anyways, I just really like the blue. I'm a blue guy, I guess. So anyways, yes, it went from just dropping a motor in it. It was originally a 307 with a 4-speed. On the floor, we changed it to this 355 tune port injection with a 5-speed. Moved it to power brakes, so now it has a hydraulic clutch. I'm just kind of reciting as I'm looking at things of what we did. So we had to put a master cylinder on there for the clutch, and then build the linkage inside, which sounds easy enough. And if you saw the linkage that I built, it was super easy, but I overthought that for days and days. And finally it ended up being just a simple push rod, and I was done in a couple hours once I finally figured out what it was going to take to do it. We put vintage air in it, smoothed out the firewall on this side here. Moved the fuel tank to the back in the rails. We lowered it. We changed it all. It's actually 4-wheel disc brakes now. We've got a rear end out of a 2005 Chevy. The front end is all upgraded to newer suspension. Everything lug nut to lug nut is brand new underneath there. We did put a utility bed that is actually off of a 72 Chevy, ran around Bowling Green, Kentucky its entire life, and we brought it home, cut it apart, had to widen it to fit the stance of this truck. And Republic Diesel there made that drive shaft. That's going in here shortly once I get the rear end put back together. We've got a fast computer system running this thing, which it's going to be inside. As you can see, we haven't worked on this in a while, so everything kind of got dumped in here, and so the parts were all together, but the computer is going to be mounted in that console that we built. This is a radio delete truck, so I didn't really want to get rid of that. I like that, so we're going to put a radio down in our panel in the console that we built. And yeah, fuel machete wheels on it. I just liked them. Everything's kind of dusty. We haven't worked on this truck in a while. We got distracted with everything else going on, but I really want to get this thing on the road here this spring. So here we go. So I started last week. I put the steering box on that because we're switching it to power steering, even though I didn't necessarily want to, but the serpentine belt setup came with the power steering pump already included, so I just bit the bullet and put a power steering gearbox on it. But because everything was already assembled and the way I had to put it together, I've just got to loosen the steering column, slide it back so I can get a new rag joint on there. Because this all needs to slide back so I can get up underneath there and connect it. I've got the power steering lines connected. We've just got to double check all the connections. Finish filling the power steering. And then, yeah, there's a bunch of other things I'd love to get after the wiring. Finish up the wiring. Just depends on which we're picking. Oh, I bought a new slave cylinder because I hadn't replaced that yet, so it was 16 or 18 bucks from Rock Auto, so I bought a new one. Just figured that everything else is new, we might as well put a new one in there. So we got to put that in and bleed that out. So there's another good activity for today. What you hammering, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody know where we're missing a Pittsburgh wrench?
Cotton.
That's not even close. Well, the other problem is it's full of paint. There's no splines there because they filled it so full of paint. Oh no, that's flat spot. I'm a knucklehead. All right, let me try this one more time. Maybe it is the right one. There's a flat spot. It still looks way small. That does not feel like the right one. I mean, I don't know if that's supposed to, that can't spread that much. That's a cast piece. That ain't the right one. Okay, is there a tape measure right there handy? 16th shaft. guys. And that is not a 13/16 shaft. That's about 11/16 shaft. So, not the right one. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's supposed to be windy. 30. Oh man, that's now, does that one have studs on it? No. Oh dang. Man, this is not a lot of space in here. I can't move that at all. Can't move that at all. Can you get me like a 6-inch extension for a 3/8 ratchet, please? Holy smokers! Who wants a lower truck? That's why I'm asking why you want to keep doing it. It's alright if we get on the lift. I'm wondering why we're not on the lift. Because it's so much work to move this thing over there.
I didn't really watch the video.
This is pretty bad. There's cobwebs under here. So neither one of the things I was going to do today do we have the right parts for. The safe cylinder is wrong. Two completely different bolt patterns. Two completely different units. Steering coupler needs to be a 202 instead of a 200. Not sure what this is supposed to be. We gotta check it out. So, we're kind of at a standstill on this. I'm gonna do a little homework, but I don't want to do it today while we're trying to get stuff done.